everyone, and welcome back to the Today Show Detroit. I am Zach Damon, here with the one and only, the amazing Carolyn Browie, the Executive Director for the Center for Independent Living of Northwest Florida. Carolyn, how's the weather down there? Great to have you.
Hey, Zach, it's a great day to be in Florida. It's a great day to be a Michigander. It's a great day to be a Canadian. It's a great day to be anywhere in the world where everyone can be happy, healthy, and safe, everybody.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And of course, yes, you talked about, uh, you know, great day to be a Michigander as well as a Canadian as well. And, a lot of connections there. But Carolyn, you've done so much. So I was wondering, because I want to be able to just have the viewers get to know you the best that they can. Is it okay if we jump right in?
Absolutely, Zach. And it's so good to see you and be part of this with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Great to see you as well. So you've served nonprofits at all levels in programs, fundraising, executive leadership levels, and you have such a wide perspective and experience. It's incredible. And of course, you've been engaged with the field of disability since 1987. And of course, prior to being with the CIL of Northwest Florida, you served as the exec director of the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living here in Michigan from 2014 to 2017. And of course, you bring more than 12 years of service from the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living. But, Carolyn, I'm curious, how did all of this start? I mean, what led you to nonprofits and sort of the disability work that you started in back in 1987?
Well, I will even say that it started well before 1987. Zach, as you've known me for quite a few years, you can imagine that I'm not the most quiet person most of the time. I certainly have a lot to say about a lot of different things. And if you were to ask my second grade teacher, she would tell you I was an advocate back then. And later, I developed juvenile diabetes, and then I started to have vision impairment. And I am legally blind, and I am a person who sometimes needs to do a few things a little bit differently. I do everything everybody else does, just sometimes I need to do them with some supports or assistive technology, or some things take a little longer, some things are done a little differently, but I do everything everybody else does. And I encourage everybody in the viewing of this, as well as living their lives or knowing other people who may be experiencing disabilities, to reach, to learn, to be part of the community. And by being part of the community, that's where it came from. So I was very fortunate that following my starting to lose my eyesight, I became involved with our local Center for Independent Living. And then I decided that, heck, I'm doing this anyway. I love advocacy. I love being involved. And so I went on and got my master's in social work, and I've continued to do the work, and I've been part of different leadership teams, different civic and community groups, as well as statewide groups in both Michigan and in Florida. I've also taught at universities in both Michigan and in Florida. And so it's just wonderful to be an ADA coordinator as well, and trying to make sure that people know what it means to be inclusive. What does it mean to have access? What does it mean to have a diverse, equitable, and inclusive opportunity for the world to participate in? And I sadly have to tell you that my work is not done, and neither is other people's. I would love to be able to sit here and tell you I was all done. It's time to close the shop, and I'll go about my day doing something else and find a new job, whether that be washing windows to being at the beach or something else in some other way. But the advocacy work and social work and Centers for Independent Living, we are here for the long haul. And that's no joke on long haulers with COVID. But the piece that's so important is that every person is unique, and every person's needs is different. And yet there's also some trajectory of things being similar. And we're able to help work with that together to make a difference. And that's really the gush that gets my blood running, is because then I can be part of it. And just as I tell that little bit, I can feel my own energy rise as I get passionate and involved in what I'm doing. So I think that's a good start. And you can let me know what else you'd like to ask me about that.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, well, and again, I just want to commend you. I think all of your colleagues, your vast team of network, and the people that you've worked with. I mean, you lead a great army, and you're a great general, for great things, and you are just a great warrior of light. So good things all around, and you touched on a lot of points. I mean, just being able to have the diversity, equity, and inclusion forefront, making sure that those that do things a little bit differently, have access to that. And again, doing such great work. And of course, I want to touch on some of your accomplishments as well, because you've accomplished so many great things, including but not limiting to, you ensured financial stability and growing funding in private philanthropy in different areas. And then you've more than doubled the number of services provided between time in 2014 and 2017 with the CIL. And then, of course, you've established a continually expanding the disability awareness and education program in the district-wide K-12 schools from 2005 to 2007, which is incredible. And then you tirelessly work to increase access for individuals with disabilities to public education, public rights of way, transportation, and voting throughout Washtenaw, Livingston, and Monroe counties in Michigan when you did that work. And then, of course, you partnered with numerous businesses, governments, healthcare organizations, schools, and universities to promote inclusion of people with disabilities. So, I mean, with all of that you did in Michigan and the Midwest, can you talk about what motivated you to accomplish so much? You did touch on it a little bit previous question, but again, how does someone like you get up every day and continue to goal set and not see the hurdles, but rather see the opportunities and continue to press forward?
Well, Zach, as stated a little bit earlier, there's the work never ends. There's always more work to do. I don't like to rest on my laurels. I like to continue to try to make spaces and places better for all persons. You try to start by looking at small things that you can put in place, but you're really shooting for the stars with a much larger piece. Whether it be transportation in one city, one county, one state to now two states, or when you visit another state or another country, you constantly are looking for ways that you can keep expanding it. It's not done alone. It's individuals working together. It's trying to look for how that's going to be better for everyone. So while I might be a person with visual impairment, um, other persons might have mobility impairment, might have hidden disabilities. They may be very successful in one aspect of their life and need supports in another. And what we try to do at Centers for Independent Living, no matter which state you are in, all 50 states have centers, is to try to make sure that individuals get access to the resources that they need so that they can further their independence. And my job and the job of my staff teams at either center or anywhere in the country is to try to help people find that right niche for them, find what's good for them, to motivate them to pursue further. And I just get that warm fuzzy feeling anytime somebody has a difference that's made for them, when somebody gets access to school or employment, or when the county transportation expands, or when there's that opportunity to know that you're making an impact on the community. And just as an example, I happen to be at the legislature today and trying to help give input and content here in Florida about why accessible infrastructure and inclusion is important. And that goes across every single thing, whether you're going to the grocery store, or you're in school, or you're going to work, or you're riding a bike, you're in transportation, no matter what it is you're doing. If there's accessibility and the infrastructure and there's that opportunity to be included, that includes everybody. And we are not whole until everybody is part of it.
Absolutely. Well, so we are not whole until everyone is a part of it and included. I could not agree more. And then, of course, Interesting things that you and I touched on a little bit before the show. But the great Needham, anniversary is coming up and celebration of that. So, do you mind sharing with the viewers kind of why that's important?
Yeah. So NEDM is the National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And the reason that that's important is that people with disabilities have the opportunity to be part of our workforce. Individuals with disabilities are getting close to 25% of our entire population, and persons with disabilities are employed all over. So if Zach, we look right now, what we're both doing right now, I'm on air with you and you're on air, and we both have disabilities. Well, most often when you're in, so that's 100% of two people. But if we're in other groups, typically, if you had 10 people, you're going to have 2 to 3 for sure that are going to have some sort of disability that's part of who they are. It could be things as simple as migraines. It could be long-term conditions such as diabetes, or persons that are born with an experience from birth, different kinds of impairments such as cerebral palsy. It might be that somebody has a traumatic accident, or that their sight changes and because of either a condition they already had, or that somebody's on medication, or that somebody has some other change that happens, such as we've had so many people now experience long haulers because of the pandemic. And so people are having new symptoms that they're coping with. And what we can do is, by making a more inclusive workforce, it allows that opportunity for everybody to be successful and everybody to have that right to earn their own wage and earn their way through the world. So, with the National Employment Awareness um, Month that we have for persons with disabilities, there's different activities that are happening. So, here in Florida, as an example, on October 26th, my center, the Center for Independent Living of Northwest Florida, at cilnwf.org, folks can go there and sign up to come to the October 26th event. We'll be having a panel discussion of individuals who've had success in getting trained to go back to work, or getting trained to be at work the first time, or being able to show the successes they're having because they've been at work. And I'm really proud. I mean, an individual who had that opportunity to be connected to a CIL back in '87. And then I continued my education, and I've been working the whole time. And I'm really proud of the work I do. I'm proud of the work that everybody does, whether it's somebody who does volunteer work for an hour or somebody who works full time, anywhere in between, each person being able to contribute their part to what society and community is all about.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think what's amazing about this Needham celebration is just the emphasis that, look, the disability dollar is strong as well. Okay. Professionals with disabilities, we also contribute to the American economy and to the world economy as well. And we're good consumers as well. So that's nothing to, turn away from. And then, of course, again, as you said, the opportunity and just how good it feels to work and give back is important. I think every person, from my experience, every friend that I've had, or every person that I've interacted with that has a disability, such as myself, you want to work, you want to be able to contribute, and you want to be able to be a good, productive member of society. And we're all, I think, at least myself, I'm very grateful for what we have here in this country, and we are in the greatest place in many ways. So very fortunate, and I think it's great that you've been able to be on the forefront of that, and again, leader in making sure that people with disabilities have opportunity to gain employment as well. And I think that's also just such a great thing about the Disability Channel, and kind of what we're about as well, in terms of our platform, having a great media training and employment program for people with disabilities. So absolutely, we at the Disability Channel are extremely behind you in that regard.
Right. And look,
Absolutely.
so I celebrate Needham right there at the Disability Channel too.
There we
It's
go.
just recognizing employers and persons with disabilities that are out in the workforce, and being able to be included with or without accommodations to perform the essential functions of the job, and to be able to make that long lasting change and impression for the community. And it's not about seeing or knowing the person with disability. It's about that person being able to be part of the solution, that person being included as we move things forward.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And, I also wanted to talk about this too, because you did talk about it a bit, because you are a pro and we're right on it in the beginning. But, you have over 25 years of executive planning, social work, teaching, administration, communications, marketing experience in the nonprofit sector. And of course, you provide great leadership and supervision to diverse teams. And, you're an advocate, of course, as we touched on, for civil rights, communities, relationship building, casework, to develop, reasonable accommodations for consumers and employment, housing, departments, activities, training, presentations, and then, providing educational consultations on accessibility and sensitivity to city governments, libraries, schools, transit providers, builders and developers, and of course, you recommend and implement policies, in conflict management and other issues as well, which is important. But, I wanted to know from you in all of these activities and all this work, and you touched on it a bit, but I think this is important to highlight again. Why is it important to give back to the community?
Well, if you think about it, we should each be trying to model what we want in our own lives too. And, it's not that Carolyn has everything that Carolyn always needs either. Sometimes I need to lean on my resources. I get some great laughs with Zach when I see him acting at times, or I get to go, in the car and I get to be driven places by folks. I have wonderful opportunities to be engaged with the disability community as well as the general community. And by giving back, we also gain. And sometimes we gain a whole lot more by what we give to others. And I'll just give you one really quick story that's a more recent one. There was a young man named Hunter. And if I go to tears, you'll all apologize. You'll all excuse me for that, and I'll apologize for it ahead. But this young man was being pushed around his school by an adult all the time. He didn't get to choose where he stopped in the hallway or who he talked to or what he ate for lunch or where he ate for lunch. He went wherever the adults put him. That's where he went. He fortunately was able to get through a sad situation, but he was able to get a power wheelchair. But what they needed and they couldn't afford was a battery. And we at the center were able to provide them with a battery for that power wheelchair. From the moment his mom set him into that power chair, he put his hand on the joystick and he pushed it forward. He said, "Look at me, Mom, I'm independent now." And when you just think about that, here's somebody who didn't have choices. He didn't get on the bus himself. He didn't get out to the classroom himself. He didn't make choices about his friends or where he went on his own. But by being given that access, he is now engaged in the community, doing things that he's interested in because he's making the choice, because he gets to choose his level of independence. Certainly, he's an individual who has a lot of needs in the community and he gets those supports. But now he's in charge of some of those things for himself. That's huge. Being able to get on the bus, go to where you want to go come to an event, go to the beach, go to work, go get some food, meet friends, go to the park. Even through COVID, being able to do some of these things because of transportation, it's golden. It's life-saving. Literally, you can get from A to B just like everybody else, sometimes a little bit differently. But being able to go from A to B, even if you sometimes need to take the stops at D, E, F, G, H, and then get back to B, because that's what it takes for you to do it, that's okay. And that's important that each person gets to live their life as fully and independently as they choose. Everybody has value. Everybody needs to be respected. Everybody needs to be able to do and live life as they choose. And that's what's so great about the disability community, the CIL, the opportunities to act, to shop, to be able to be independent wherever you so choose. Those are all parts of what it is to be fully engaged in society. And I'm so happy that I get to do that every single day.
Well, and we are so proud of what you're able to help Hunter with and gaining that independence, getting that motorized wheelchair so that he could do the activities that he wanted and be able to be engaged. Amazing, amazing story, Carolyn. Thank you for sharing. Folks, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Carolyn Growley.